Have you ever wondered how your thoughts could possibly affect reality? Why intention sometimes feels like more than just wishful thinking, as though the universe might be listening in ways science has only begun to understand. If questions like these spark something in you, you're not alone. For centuries, people have sensed that the mind might shape the world around it, and now, quantum physics has begun to whisper something eerily similar. Hello, and welcome to The Sleeping Physicist. I'm so glad you're here tonight, in this quiet pocket of time where science can breathe softly and imagination can stretch without edges. Maybe you're lying back now. Maybe you're tucked under something warm, your breath already slowing. You don't have to do anything, just listen. Let your mind float for a while as we wander together into one of the strangest and most beautiful mysteries ever discovered by human thought. A mystery that may be the missing link between quantum physics and what many call manifestation. If you've ever wondered how your thoughts could possibly affect reality, or why intention sometimes feels like more than just wishful thinking, you're not alone. Across centuries, people have sensed that the mind might somehow shape the world around it. Quantum physics, it seems, has begun to whisper something similar. And tonight, we'll listen to that whisper. We'll follow it through the laboratories of physics, through the ideas of Einstein, Schrödinger, Planck, and Bell, and maybe, by the end, you'll feel that strange and thrilling possibility. That consciousness and the universe are not separate things at all. Take a slow breath. Feel the weight of your body settle. This story begins with light. Imagine a beam of light broken into two photons, tiny packets of energy, each born from the same pulse, sharing the same origin. They speed away from each other, across miles, perhaps across galaxies, yet something invisible still binds them. No matter how far apart they go, a change in one is reflected instantly in the other. If you measure the spin of one photon and find it pointing up, the other, even at the opposite side of the universe, will instantly show the opposite spin, down. This strange linkage is not imagination. It's what the Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger described in 1935 as the characteristic trait of quantum mechanics. He was the same mind who gave us the thought experiment of Schrödinger's cat, both alive and dead until observed. For him, this interconnection between particles revealed something deeper than math. That the universe might be woven together in ways that defy the separations of distance and time. But not everyone was comfortable with that idea. Albert Einstein, who gave us relativity, called this connection spooky action at a distance. He didn't like it. It violated his sense of order, his belief that no information could travel faster than light. To him, the universe was local and lawful, each event confined by space and time. He thought there must be hidden variables, secret, unseen mechanisms behind the illusion. Yet decades later, the universe itself proved him wrong. In 1964, a quiet Irish physicist named John Bell wrote an equation, now called Bell's theorem. It was a test. If Einstein's hidden variables existed, the world would behave in one way. If Schrödinger's entanglement was real, it would behave in another. Years later, experiments by Alain Aspect in France confirmed it. The particles were truly connected instantly across space. In the early 2000s, Anton Zeilinger's team at the University of Vienna repeated the tests with even greater precision. The result was always the same. There were no hidden variables. The connection was real. Einstein had passed away by then, but perhaps somewhere the fabric of space smiled. Because what those experiments told us was breathtaking. Reality is not built out of separate things. It is built out of relationships, a web of information. Every particle, every atom, every breath you take is part of that web. What happens to one strand affects the whole. Now imagine, for a moment, that consciousness is part of that web too. The observer, the one looking, thinking, feeling, what if it isn't outside of the system, but inside it? The evidence begins to suggest it might be. In the famous double-slit experiment, when light passes through two slits, it behaves like a wave, spreading out in interference patterns. But the moment we observe which slit it goes through, the wave collapses into a single point. The act of observation changes the outcome. As physicist John Wheeler once said, "No phenomenon is a real phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon." That sentence quietly changed the foundation of physics. Because if reality requires observation to become definite, then awareness is not passive. It's participatory. It's part of the mechanism by which the universe takes shape. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, said something similar long ago. "I regard consciousness as fundamental," he told a reporter in 1931. "I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." He didn't mean belief could bend metal or thoughts could instantly summon wealth. He meant that before there is matter, there must be awareness. Consciousness is not something the brain produces. It may be the very fabric from which the brain and all physical forms arise. If that's true, then quantum entanglement may not only connect particles to each other, it may connect consciousness to the physical world. When we observe, when we intend, when we imagine, we might be interacting with that same web of possibility that holds the universe together. Take another breath. Let it be slow. The air moving in and out of you isn't separate from the stars. The oxygen in your lungs was once part of ancient suns. The carbon in your body was forged in the nuclear hearts of stars that died long before the Earth was born. You are literally the cosmos observing itself. Now, think about what happens when you focus on something you desire, when you visualize an outcome, when you feel the emotion of what you wish to create. On a neurological level, your brain begins to fire as though it's already happening. But what if, on a quantum level, your consciousness is entangling itself with the probabilities that correspond to that event? Quantum physics tells us that before observation, particles exist in a state called superposition. Many possibilities all at once. Observation collapses that wave of probability into a single outcome. So, if awareness chooses from the field of infinite potential, then intention, focused awareness, could influence which outcome becomes real. Physicist David Bohm, who worked closely with Einstein, described reality as an implicate order, a deeper hidden layer of existence where everything is already connected. He wrote, "The universe is not a collection of objects, but a single, unbroken whole." Bohm believed that consciousness and matter are different expressions of that same underlying reality. He compared it to a hologram. Every part contains the whole. When two people become emotionally close, their brains begin to show patterns of synchrony. When two photons are entangled, their states mirror each other instantly. The difference between the emotional and the physical might not be as large as we once thought. The field that connects matter may also connect minds. If your thoughts are part of this field, then manifestation isn't magic, it's participation. When you focus, when you hold an image or an emotion in your awareness, you are not commanding the universe, you are resonating with it. Your attention becomes a tuning fork within the quantum field. The frequency you sustain is the probability you strengthen. This idea is not new. Niels Bohr, one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, said, "Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real." What he meant was that beneath our solid world lies a field of pure potential, probability waves, vibrating possibilities waiting to be observed. To manifest, then, might simply mean to choose which wave you wish to collapse, to hold an intention until the universe mirrors it back. Even Einstein, though skeptical of mysticism, admitted something quietly profound. "The field is the only reality," he wrote. And what is consciousness if not a field? The field that feels, that notices, that dreams. Some modern researchers are beginning to explore this overlap scientifically. At Princeton University, the Global Consciousness Project found subtle correlations between collective human emotion and fluctuations in random number generators around the world. When major events stir billions of minds in unison, the data appears to deviate from chance. It's as though human attention, collective consciousness, slightly shifts the statistical behavior of physical systems. It's small, but it's there, hinting that our minds may leave faint ripples in the quantum sea. Imagine standing at the shore of that sea now. The night sky above you is scattered with stars, each one a sun, each one emitting endless photons, some of which may reach your eyes in this very moment. Those photons have been traveling for millions of years, yet as they strike your retina, they become part of your perception now. In that instant, their long journey collapses into presence. Your awareness completes it. The act of seeing is a bridge across time. This is how consciousness works with the universe. It completes the circuit. It draws scattered potential into coherent form. So, when you think about manifestation, about aligning your mind with what you wish to experience, remember that the mechanism might not be mystical at all. It might be quantum. When you imagine, you are collapsing probability. When you feel, you are transmitting vibration. When you believe, you are stabilizing that vibration until the universe harmonizes with it. And maybe, just maybe, the photons, the electrons, and the atoms around you respond not because of superstition, but because, at their deepest level, they were never separate from you to begin with. Take another long breath. Let your awareness expand for a moment. You are not a tiny thing lost in space. You are space, conscious of itself. The quantum field of awareness gently unfolding. If you find these ideas beautiful or comforting, if you love drifting through questions that blur the line between science and wonder, I'd be deeply grateful if you left a gentle like on this video, or subscribed for more quiet explorations like this one. It helps the channel grow, and it helps this small constellation of curious minds stay connected across the vastness. Now, let the thought settle. Everything is connected. Not metaphorically, not spiritually alone, but physically, scientifically. Entanglement is the proof. When you move in consciousness, you move the universe. When you direct your awareness, you shape reality's probabilities. The mind is not outside the equation. It is the equation. As you lie there, let that realization become soft. Don't think of it as power. Think of it as harmony. The same harmony that lets a photon find its twin across infinite space. The same harmony that allows a thought to become an emotion to become action, and action to become a world. Reality, it seems, is less like a machine and more like a song. You are not listening from outside it. You are one of its notes, and the universe, vast and endless, listens back. Soon, we'll drift even deeper into this mystery, exploring how entanglement might extend beyond particles, into biology, into memory, into the shared field of human experience itself. But for now, just rest with the wonder that everything you see, touch, and feel is already connected to everything else. The distance was never real. Only the field is real, and you are part of it. When you begin to see reality through the lens of entanglement, something quiet begins to shift inside you. The old feeling of separation, of being a tiny observer trapped inside a vast, indifferent universe, starts to dissolve. You begin to sense that perhaps the universe was never indifferent at all. Perhaps it was always listening, always responsive, always aware. Physicist David Bohm used to describe the quantum field as a kind of undivided wholeness, a hidden order beneath the apparent chaos of the world. To him, matter and mind were not two different things, but two ways of looking at the same thing. He said that consciousness is not just inside us. It flows through everything, like a current through the ocean. And when you focus on something, when you imagine it clearly and feel it as if it's already real, you are not forcing the ocean to move. You are moving with it. Let's drift there for a moment. Picture a still sea beneath the starlight. Each wave is a thought, each ripple a possibility. Every movement affects every other movement. When one wave rises, the others respond, even if faintly, across the surface. That is the image of entanglement. It isn't about distance or power, it's about coherence, the way separate points become one pattern. In the 1990s, experiments by physicist Nicholas Geeson in Geneva showed that entangled photons can influence each other across distances of more than 10 kilometers, with changes occurring faster than light could travel between them. Later, tests pushed this even further. Hundreds of kilometers apart, the results were the same. Instantaneous correlation. No signal, no delay. Space and time seemed to step aside for something deeper. That deeper thing is what the quantum field seems to be. A single, timeless information system. Now imagine that same informational field, but alive with awareness. Consciousness might not be something that happens in the brain alone. The brain could be a receiver, a resonator tuned to the frequencies of this field. Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed something remarkable along these lines: that quantum processes inside tiny structures of the brain, called microtubules, could be the bridge between the physical world and conscious experience. They called it orchestrated objective reduction, the idea that consciousness emerges from the quantum collapse of possibilities into one experienced moment. If that's true, then your awareness itself is a quantum event. Your thoughts are not floating abstractions, but real activities within the quantum field. Every focused intention, every mental image, every coherent emotion could be a subtle act of entanglement with the probabilities of the world. Now, take a slow breath in. Feel it rise through your chest, expanding gently. Exhale, and imagine that breath blending with the larger rhythm of existence. Just like particles, we are not isolated points. We are fields interacting with fields. We radiate, we receive, we exchange. In laboratories, physicists talk about coherence, the alignment of waves into harmony. When waves are coherent, they amplify each other, creating clarity and power. When they are scattered, they cancel each other out. The same principle may apply to the human mind. A focused, emotionally coherent intention may interact more strongly with the quantum field than a scattered, contradictory one. That's why ancient traditions spoke of inner stillness, focus, and belief as the foundations of creation. They were teaching coherence long before the word existed. Quantum theory doesn't tell us what consciousness is. It only shows us that it cannot be ignored. Even the great Niels Bohr, often thought of as a pure rationalist, once said, "When it comes to atoms, language can be used only as in poetry." He understood that the quantum world demands a different kind of understanding, one that includes the observer. That is the poetry of physics, the realization that we are inside the poem we're reading. Let your mind soften around that. You, the listener, sitting or lying quietly now, are not just thinking about the universe. You are participating in it. The very act of awareness is a subtle collaboration with creation. When you imagine peace, when you feel gratitude, you are altering the probability waves within your own field, and, through entanglement, perhaps far beyond it. Modern physicist Dean Radin has spent decades studying the relationship between consciousness and matter. In tightly controlled experiments, he observed that focused human intention could produce small but measurable changes in quantum systems. Tiny fluctuations that appear to move slightly away from pure randomness when people direct coherent thought toward them. The effects are delicate, not dramatic, but they hint at something profound. Consciousness may slightly bias probability. If thought can nudge probability, then manifestation becomes not fantasy, but participation. You are not bending reality. You are joining it in its dance of potential. Now, imagine the smallest unit of existence, a single quantum oscillating between being and not being, wave and particle. It is both everywhere and nowhere until awareness meets it. When you think, that thought has its own quantum structure, a vibration, a pattern of energy. In the quantum view, reality is not made of things but of interactions. So, when your consciousness interacts with the field, it leaves an imprint. The field rearranges itself subtly in response, as though listening to your signal. Over time, repeated focus strengthens the pattern. The field begins to echo it, harmonizing around it, and what was once a faint possibility starts to crystallize. In this sense, manifestation is the art of maintaining coherence between thought and feeling, long enough for the physical world to catch up. Einstein himself, though he resisted the mystical interpretations of quantum theory, hinted at something similar when he said, "Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions." He believed imagination wasn't mere fantasy. It was a real creative force, the mind's way of exploring possible configurations of the field before they become physical. The poet of the quantum world, Richard Feynman, once said, "I think I can safely say that nobody understands quantum mechanics." Yet he also loved to remind his students that what we call understanding is often just the recognition of patterns. And if the universe is a pattern of relationships, then perhaps understanding isn't about controlling it, but harmonizing with it. As you listen now, your brain is forming patterns too, waves of electrical activity weaving in and out of coherence. Studies show that when people focus on gratitude or compassion, their brain waves synchronize more smoothly, becoming more coherent. Heart rhythms follow suit. The body becomes a harmonious instrument. Some researchers call this state physiological resonance. When that resonance aligns with thought, emotion, and intention, you become a coherent field of consciousness. And coherence attracts coherence. This may be why prayer, meditation, or simple visualization seem to bring real changes over time. When practiced with emotional alignment and belief, they might entangle the mind with patterns in the field that already exist as a potential. So, the next time you set an intention, whether it's for peace, for love, for healing, remember that you're not sending a wish into empty space. You're resonating with a probability that already exists within the quantum field. You're choosing it, aligning with it, becoming coherent with it. Take another breath. Let your awareness expand slightly outward. Imagine the space around you not as empty, but alive with invisible vibration. Each point a potential waiting for focus. When you breathe, you are breathing that field in. When you exhale, you give something back to it. This is participation, not command. A dialogue, not a demand. If you find comfort in this union between science and spirit, between curiosity and calm, I would be deeply grateful if you left a gentle like on this video, or subscribed for more quiet explorations like this one. It helps this small constellation of dreamers find each other in the vastness. And now, as the thoughts settle, consider what all of this means for the story of being human. Entanglement tells us that separation is an illusion. Every mind is a wave within the same ocean. Every act of kindness, every flash of insight, ripples through the fabric of existence in ways we may never measure, but that still matter. The physicist Werner Heisenberg once said, "What we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning." Reality answers the questions we ask of it. When your question is love, the answer comes in forms of connection. When your question is fear, the answer mirrors that too. The field reflects the frequency of its observers. So, what happens when a whole species begins to ask, quietly, for unity, for peace, for awakening? Perhaps the field responds. Perhaps that's how evolution moves forward. Not just through random mutation, but through the coherent alignment of consciousness itself. You are part of that experiment right now. Every calm breath, every curious thought, every act of kindness adds coherence to the field. And in that coherence, reality unfolds differently. The more you realize your unity with all things, the gentler the world becomes. Einstein once said that the most important question a human being can ask is whether the universe is friendly. Maybe friendliness is not a property of the universe, but a reflection of how we engage with it. When we meet it with curiosity, gratitude, and trust, it mirrors that back to us. In the language of quantum physics, that's not philosophy, it's participation. The observer and the observed are one continuous process. You are not looking at the universe. You are the universe, looking at itself through your eyes. As you rest now, let that awareness expand gently. Every atom in your body has been entangled with others across space and time. Every photon that touches your skin carries the history of the stars. Every heartbeat is part of the pulse of the cosmos itself. And somewhere, deep within the stillness of the field, every intention you have ever set still shimmers as potential, waiting for the right alignment to unfold. All it needs is coherence. All it needs is you. Let your awareness soften even more now. The space around you begins to feel gentle, less like air, and more like an ocean of stillness. You are floating inside the very fabric that physicists try to describe with equations. the same invisible field that holds every atom, every star, every thought. The mind loves to think of space as emptiness, but the quantum view reveals something astonishing. Space is not empty at all. It hums with energy, subtle and constant. It is filled with what scientists call the zero-point field, the lowest possible energy state of the universe, a quiet sea of vibration that never truly rests. Every particle that has ever existed arises from this field. They are like tiny waves momentarily rising from the ocean before sinking back into it. When you look at your hands, your breath, the light in your room, you are seeing that ocean in motion. Matter is not solid. It is vibration slowed down enough to take shape. This means that even the chair beneath you, the heartbeat in your chest, the thought forming in your mind, all of it is the same energy playing different notes. Physicist Paul Dirac once wrote that the vacuum is not nothing. It is a reservoir of infinite energy. Imagine that. Infinite energy present everywhere, even here, in the quiet of this moment. And through the principle of entanglement, that energy is not fragmented. It is whole. Everything you could ever wish for, everything you might imagine, already exists as a possible vibration within it. When mystics through the ages spoke of creation emerging from stillness, they might have been describing this very field. Modern physics gives it different names: quantum vacuum, zero-point energy, unified field. But the essence is the same. Creation arises when the field interacts with itself. Observation is one such interaction. When you bring awareness to something, you stir the field. You create a resonance. Now, if you picture every thought as a vibration, every emotion as a tone, you can begin to see why alignment matters. Coherent thought and emotion can create stable patterns in the field, just as a singer's voice can make a glass tremble into harmony. The physicist and philosopher David Bohm once said that meaning is the bridge between mind and matter. In this sense, meaning is frequency. The clearer your intention, the purer your emotional resonance, the cleaner the vibration you send into the field. It isn't about controlling the universe. It's about tuning yourself to it. When you align with gratitude, when you feel love, the frequencies within you become organized. Your body's electromagnetic field becomes more coherent. The heart's rhythm synchronizes with the brain's waves, creating what researchers at the HeartMath Institute call heart-brain coherence. And coherence, in any system, physical or quantum, makes communication easier. It's as though you become more readable to the universe. This may be why prayer, meditation, or even quiet visualization can produce real-world effects. In 1998, a large-scale study conducted during the periods of meditation showed measurable drops in crime rates in cities where participants focused collectively on peace. Traditional science still debates the mechanisms, but the data whispered something beyond coincidence. Consciousness might not be limited to individual skulls. It might be a shared field. When you think of manifestation, think of it less as summoning something new and more as choosing from what already exists in potential. Quantum theory suggests that the universe is not fixed. It is a field of probabilities waiting for observation. Your attention is the act of choosing. Every time you focus on a thought and infuse it with emotion, you are giving that probability weight. You are, in the language of physics, collapsing the wave. Physicist Pascual Jordan, a colleague of Heisenberg, once remarked, "Observations not only disturb what has to be measured, they produce it." This is the key. Observation is not passive, it is creative. When you watch reality with expectation and belief, you participate in shaping it. So, what does this mean for the everyday dreamer? It means that the act of believing, of focusing, is not naive. It's fundamental. The energy you hold, the clarity of your focus, the love you infuse into a vision, all of it resonates through the field that connects everything. Entanglement ensures that nothing you think or feel is ever truly isolated. Picture the atoms in your body vibrating gently, each one a little note in the cosmic symphony. The music they play is determined by your emotional tone. When you feel joy, the rhythm quickens. When you feel gratitude, the vibration becomes smooth and coherent. When you hold fear, the tone scatters. The field listens. It doesn't judge. It simply mirrors coherence. And perhaps this is the simplest understanding of manifestation through physics. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to resonance. Let that realization settle softly into your awareness. You don't need to force anything. Creation is not a battle. It's an alignment. It happens naturally, like breathing. You inhale possibility and exhale form. The more science looks at consciousness, the more this perspective gains a quiet support. In 1922, experiments by physicist Marcus Aspelmeyer in Vienna demonstrated entanglement between massive objects, tiny spheres visible to the naked eye. This was a turning point. It suggested that quantum behavior isn't limited to the microscopic world. It might influence larger systems too. If macroscopic objects can remain entangled, then perhaps consciousness, a large-scale quantum process, can entangle with matter as well. This brings us to one of the most poetic possibilities in modern science: that consciousness and the universe are two sides of the same wave, one inward, one outward. When you think, the field listens. When you believe, it harmonizes. When you act with coherence, it sings with you. Imagine this process as light folding upon itself. Photons, though massless, carry momentum. They move through the vacuum as pure vibration. When they interact with matter, they reveal structure, color, and form. Consciousness might behave in a similar way, an invisible light illuminating the possibilities of existence. Without that illumination, nothing could appear. When you understand this, manifestation ceases to feel mystical. It becomes a natural expression of participation. Every time you visualize an outcome, you are sending light into a potential pattern. Every time you let gratitude fill your body, you are amplifying that light. And every time you release fear, you clear the interference that keeps the pattern from stabilizing. It might take time. Even in physics, a wave takes time to settle into a resonance. The quantum field moves instantly in potential, but physical matter, the slow dance of atoms, needs patience. The same patience that stars have when they form from the cold clouds of hydrogen. The same patience that the universe had in waiting 13 billion years for consciousness to appear. So, be gentle with your manifestations. They are not demands, they are seeds. And every seed needs space, trust, and rhythm. Take another long, quiet breath. Feel the body you inhabit as a constellation of particles, each one connected to every other in the universe through entanglement. Somewhere, a star flickers in rhythm with your heartbeat. Somewhere else, a galaxy curves around the memory of light that will one day reach your eyes. This is not poetry. It's physics. Everything is part of the same continuous field. And now that you know this, creation feels different, doesn't it? Less about willpower, more about harmony. less about wanting, more about allowing. The moment you release resistance, coherence increases. The moment you trust, the signal strengthens. As Max Planck said near the end of his life, science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. That is because, in the last analysis, we ourselves are part of the mystery we are trying to solve. You are part of it, and the mystery listens when you speak through feeling. If this quiet journey into the meeting point of physics and consciousness has touched you, I'd be grateful if you left a like or subscribed for more explorations like this one. It helps this circle of listeners stay connected across the oceans of the digital world, each of us like small beacons of coherence, flickering in time with the same universal rhythm. Now, as the mind settles and the body rests, notice how vast the silence feels. That silence is not empty. It is filled with potential, the same potential that gives rise to galaxies, to atoms, to thoughts. In that silence, everything is already entangled. Every possibility already exists. All that remains is for consciousness to choose which melody to hear. Let that thought linger softly in your awareness. The melody of existence, the song of possibility, is always playing beneath the noise of ordinary life. You are part of it, one note within the vast chord of the cosmos. Every breath, every emotion, every quiet thought contributes to the frequency of this universal symphony. When you think of quantum entanglement, don't just think of particles spinning in opposite directions across space. Think of connection itself. Think of the way your emotions ripple outward, how one act of kindness can change a chain of moments in someone else's life, how empathy travels invisibly between people. Physics has given this phenomenon a name, but life has known it forever. In 2015, researchers at Delft University performed what was called a loophole-free test of entanglement. Two electrons were separated by more than a kilometer, and yet their correlation remained instantaneous. With every new experiment, the universe keeps confirming that distance is not what we thought it was. The cosmos does not separate. It resonates. Now, close your eyes for a moment and sense that resonance within you. There are no empty spaces inside or outside of you, only patterns of vibration. If consciousness participates in that vibration, then everything you think, every emotion you nurture, every word you speak carries weight. Not heavy weight, but subtle influence, like gravity on a feather. When you are angry, your field becomes turbulent. When you are calm, it becomes clear. When you hold gratitude, it becomes luminous. This is not metaphor. Studies using random event generators, delicate quantum devices sensitive to minute fluctuations, have shown small deviations from randomness during moments of global emotion, when humanity moves together in grief, awe, or collective attention. Something about coherent feeling seems to bring the field into pattern. Imagine what that means on an individual level. Every moment you choose coherence, every time you calm your thoughts and hold kindness, you are helping the quantum sea around you find order. The particles that make up your body are in constant communication with that sea. When you align them with love, you send coherence into the universe. Some might call that prayer. Some might call it meditation. Others simply call it awareness. The name doesn't matter. The frequency does. The Nobel laureate Brian Josephson once suggested that consciousness might interact with quantum processes directly, proposing that mind and matter could be two complementary aspects of one underlying reality. It was a daring idea, bridging science and experience. Today, as quantum biology uncovers the role of coherence in photosynthesis, bird navigation, and even olfaction, it no longer seems far-fetched to imagine that consciousness too could be quantum. So, what does manifestation look like in this light? It becomes the art of coherence. To manifest isn't to command, it is to tune. When your intention, emotion, and action vibrate at the same frequency, the field recognizes you. It mirrors your signal, not because it obeys you, but because it is you. Think of the field as an infinite mirror made of light. Every thought you send reflects back multiplied, organized by resonance. Fear reflects confusion. Love reflects harmony. Gratitude reflects abundance. The mirror cannot lie. It only amplifies. You don't have to believe in miracles for this to work. You are already doing it. Every time you imagine something vividly and feel it deeply, you are programming your neural networks, altering the electromagnetic field around your body, and perhaps, through entanglement, influencing the probabilities that define your future experiences. The shift might be subtle at first, a coincidence, a chance encounter, a door opening quietly. But the field listens continuously. What you repeat becomes rhythm. What you feel becomes form. Let's slow everything down. Inhale gently. Feel the air enter not just your lungs, but the space around you. As you exhale, imagine the air carrying information, a soft signal, back into the universe. The exchange is constant. Breath is a physical version of entanglement, a reminder that nothing you take in or give out is ever lost. Even thoughts that you forget become vibrations stored in the collective field. The ancients called it akasha, the ether of memory. Physicists might call it the quantum information field. Both speak of the same truth. Nothing is wasted. Every thought adds a ripple. That is why intention matters. That is why clarity is power. When you focus your awareness without anxiety or rush, when you choose a vision and let it resonate with calm certainty, you begin to sculpt probability itself. The universe is responsive, but it moves in its own rhythm. Impatience creates interference. Trust creates flow. Einstein once remarked that the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. To him, that sense of awe was the source of true science. In the same way, manifestation works best when guided by wonder rather than need. When your desire turns into curiosity, how might this beauty unfold? You open the field. When you force it, you narrow it. And perhaps that's why gratitude is such a powerful amplifier. Gratitude is the frequency of completion. It signals to the field that the manifestation is already real in consciousness. Once it's real there, the physical world begins to align. Gratitude collapses the wave in favor of fulfillment. Now, listen closely to the rhythm of your own breath again. Feel how the inhale and exhale are not opposites, but parts of one continuous flow. Just as entangled particles are not two things but one phenomenon, your thoughts and your reality are not two separate realms. They are one unfolding pattern viewed from within. If this way of seeing the universe feels like a kind of gentle revelation, I'd be honored if you left a like or subscribed to this channel. It helps this small constellation of listeners stay connected across the digital night sky. Every time you share or comment, it's another signal of coherence, a way for kindred minds to find each other. The further you travel into the quantum landscape, the more it begins to resemble something intimate and familiar. Beneath the mathematics, beneath the equations and experiments, lies something human, awareness aware of itself. The physicist John Wheeler once proposed a participatory universe, a cosmos that comes into being through the act of observation. He imagined every conscious moment as a yes-no choice, a single bit of information that helps the universe know itself. If Wheeler was right, then manifestation is not a fringe idea. It is the everyday act of creation that happens through every conscious being. The universe, vast and ancient, might require your participation to finish its own story. So, when you hold an intention, hold it as if the cosmos were listening, because it might be. Not as a separate force, but as your own greater body, the luminous field of existence stretching beyond the stars. You can test this for yourself, quietly and privately. Choose a simple intention, one born not of fear, but of curiosity and kindness. Visualize it not as something you will get, but as something that is already gently unfolding. Feel gratitude as though it were done. Then let it go. The release is as important as the focus. Releasing tells the field you trust it. Trust is coherence. Days or weeks later, when small coincidences begin to appear, notice them. They are the whispers of alignment, the field rearranging its probabilities to mirror your inner state. Every coincidence is a communication. Every synchronicity is the universe saying yes. And now, as you rest here, feel how close that universe is. Not far away, not above or beyond, but right here within your awareness. Every spark of thought, every flicker of emotion, every gentle curiosity is already quantum entanglement in action. The missing link between manifestation and physics isn't hidden in equations. It's hidden in you. The atoms that form your body have been entangled since the dawn of time. They carry memory of the stars that birthed them. They carry the signature of every interaction they've ever had. When you focus on possibility, those atoms remember how to align. They remember the rhythm of creation. And you, small and infinite, become the bridge, the meeting point where consciousness dreams and the universe responds. Everything you have ever longed for already exists in potential, shimmering within the field of infinite possibility. You don't have to chase it. You only have to resonate with it, the way a string vibrates in sympathy with another across a room. Entanglement does the rest. Let the thought fade softly, like light dissolving into twilight. You are not separate. You are not powerless. You are awareness, woven through every particle of being. The field knows your frequency. It has always known. And in this quiet moment, you are remembering that truth again. You can almost feel it now. The gentle hum beneath thought, the steady pulse of something that has no edges. It is the same presence that existed before the first star was born, and it is still here, flowing through you. The mind tries to name it: energy, field, spirit, source, but the truth is simpler. It is awareness becoming form. When you observe the universe through the lens of quantum physics, the separation between inner and outer starts to dissolve. The equations tell us that an atom is mostly empty space, but that emptiness is not a void. It's a vibrant sea of probability, pulsing with potential. Even within the stillness of your own body, trillions of particles flicker in and out of possibility every second, responding to forces that have no distance limit. At the smallest scale, nothing stands alone. Each quantum state is connected, woven into a tapestry of relationship. That's what entanglement really means, not just a physical phenomenon, but a cosmic principle. Everything depends on everything else. As this truth unfolds, you might notice that it mirrors something ancient. teachings that long preceded physics. In the Upanishads of India, it was said, "You are the universe in miniature." The mystics were describing what quantum physicists now glimpse through mathematics, that the observer and the observed are one continuum. Physicist Amit Goswami once said that consciousness is not produced by the brain. It is the ground of all being, and the brain merely tunes into it, like a radio receiver. If this is so, then manifestation, the ability to bring possibility into form, is not magic, but participation. It's the natural expression of a conscious universe learning to focus through you. You are not creating reality from nothing. You are guiding the flow of probabilities that already exist, just as a musician doesn't invent sound, but arranges vibration into melody. The clearer the intent, the purer the tone. The more coherent the emotion, the more the field aligns around it. Breathe again, gently. Notice how your breath and thought synchronize when you slow down. The mind stops scattering energy. The body feels lighter. This is coherence in motion. It's the same principle that governs the stability of atoms and galaxies alike. In physics, systems that lose coherence fall into chaos. Systems that regain it evolve. Consciousness works the same way. When you center yourself in gratitude, you restore coherence to your field. Gratitude is resonance with the already fulfilled. It is the vibration of completion. The modern researcher Joe Dispenza often speaks of this connection between emotion, thought, and the quantum field. His work bridges neuroscience and quantum theory, showing that when people sustain elevated emotions and clear intentions, measurable changes occur in their biology. Heart rhythms, brain waves, even gene expression. While the field of study is young, it suggests something extraordinary. That consciousness, when coherent, organizes matter toward health, harmony, and creation. In a quiet lab, when physicists cool matter near absolute zero, particles lose their individuality and merge into one collective state known as a Bose-Einstein condensate. Thousands of atoms behave as one wave. This is a physical metaphor for consciousness. When minds align in intention, when they enter coherence together, something similar happens. The separation between them fades. A shared field emerges. Think of meditation groups around the world, or people silently wishing peace during times of chaos. Their waves overlap. The collective field grows more ordered. The universe listens because it is built to listen. Its very structure is communication, and this communication is constant. When you love, you send coherence. When you fear, you send dissonance. The field doesn't judge. It simply mirrors back what it receives, like the surface of a lake returning the shape of the sky above it. So, if you want to shift reality, shift the sky within. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Each pulse is a signal, an electromagnetic wave that extends beyond your skin. The heart's field is measurable several feet away. Imagine that signal merging with the field of the Earth itself, the geomagnetic breath of the planet. Every heart contributes to that pattern. The human and the cosmic overlap. In this light, the idea of manifestation becomes less about possession and more about alignment. The universe isn't a warehouse waiting to deliver. It's a mirror waiting for recognition. You don't ask for what you want. You remember what you are. When you think of something you wish to create, a work of art, a healed relationship, a new experience, let yourself feel as though it already exists, because in the quantum field, it does. The probabilities are already woven into existence. What you call desire is simply the echo of that reality calling you toward coherence with it. Physicist John Archibald Wheeler wrote that we are participators in bringing about something of the universe in the distant past. He meant that observation reaches backward as well as forward, that consciousness doesn't just witness time, it weaves it. You might imagine your intention reaching out like light, not only shaping what will come, but harmonizing what has already been. Time, from the quantum perspective, is not linear. Entangled particles don't respect it. Their influence seems to bypass it entirely. So, when you visualize your future, when you hold gratitude for something not yet visible, you may be sending coherence both forward and backward through time, reweaving your story from within. Now, feel into that story. See yourself as an unfolding wave, not a static point. Every moment of awareness creates a small interference pattern in the quantum field. The more love you bring, the more beautiful the pattern becomes. The physicist Richard Feynman used to describe particles as probabilities, taking every possible path simultaneously, only collapsing into one when observed. He joked that reality is like a vast choose-your-own-adventure novel that updates itself every time consciousness turns a page. You are turning pages right now. Each thought is a choice of frequency. Each emotion, a signal sent into the infinite. When you wake tomorrow, remember that you are not entering a fixed world. You are entering a field of potential, and your attention will decide which version of that field solidifies into experience. So, move gently, think kindly, feel deeply. The smallest act of compassion, the smallest breath of gratitude, sends coherence rippling outward. Somewhere in that network of infinite connection, those waves meet others like them. They join, amplify, and echo back as moments of synchronicity, the universe nodding quietly in response. If you enjoy these deep wanderings between physics and consciousness, I'd be truly grateful if you left a like or subscribed. It allows this constellation of curious souls to stay connected, to keep exploring together in peace. Every listener, every thought shared, adds light to this quiet web of awareness. Now, settle once more into stillness. The mind may still try to grasp how all of this works, but you don't need to understand it intellectually. Understanding isn't required for participation. Existence doesn't wait for permission. It only asks that you remember. You are entangled with everything. The field that births galaxies is the same field that breathes you now. Every star that burns, every leaf that trembles, every atom that spins, all of it shares your origin. As this awareness deepens, the boundary between you and the universe softens. The longing to manifest turns into something quieter, simpler. You realize that creation isn't about acquiring what you lack. It's about allowing what you already are to express itself through form. This is the heart of quantum manifestation. The recognition that nothing is truly separate, that reality is not made of matter but meaning, meaning guided by consciousness. And as you rest here, aware of that unity, you are already manifesting coherence. The field listens. The field responds. It always has. The air around you seems softer now, doesn't it? It has a kind of presence to it, a density that isn't heavy but alive. The longer you stay here, the more real it feels. This sense that you are floating within something intelligent, something listening. Maybe that's the quiet secret physicists have been circling for more than a century. The universe isn't cold machinery. It's awareness arranged as matter, attention condensed into form. Think of how photons behave. A photon can exist in two places at once until it's measured, and only then does it appear to decide where it really is. When two photons are entangled, their decisions are synchronized instantly, no matter how far apart they drift. That's the mystery we started with, the mystery that Einstein couldn't quite accept. Yet every experiment, from the earliest by Alain Aspect to the most recent at MIT and Vienna, confirms it again and again. Nature is non-local. Reality communicates faster than light, perhaps outside of time altogether. If you listen closely, you can almost feel that in your own life. A thought of someone you love, and moments later, they text you. A decision made in stillness, and suddenly coincidences align in its favor. Science might call these correlations, but maybe correlation is just a word we use when we're not yet ready to call something connection. When you manifest, when you imagine with emotion and clarity, you are initiating a quantum dialogue. Not between you and something separate, but within one shared field. You are part of that conversation. Physicist Freeman Dyson once said, "The universe knew we were coming." He meant that the laws of physics seem tuned for life, that consciousness fits perfectly into the equation of existence. Perhaps the reason it fits so perfectly is because it isn't an add-on. It is the equation. The universe doesn't contain consciousness. It is consciousness, exploring itself through form, through your eyes, through every act of awareness. When you bring your attention to something, whether it's a small goal or a dream too big to name, you are participating in that self-exploration. You are a node of awareness guiding the larger consciousness toward new expression. In that sense, manifestation is evolution. The universe expands not only through matter, but through imagination. Now, imagine your thoughts not as words, but as waves, overlapping and merging with the background hum of existence. The field doesn't judge what you send. It simply matches frequency. If you send uncertainty, it gives you chaos to mirror it. If you send coherence, it gives you harmony. It doesn't choose sides, it reflects. This is why gratitude, joy, and love seem to magnetize what we call miracles. They are coherent frequencies. They stabilize the signal. When Nikola Tesla spoke of understanding the secrets of the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, he was not being poetic. He was describing the same physics that underlies quantum theory. Frequency determines form. Change the vibration, and the manifestation must follow. Your body is a vast orchestra of such frequencies. Every cell emits electromagnetic signals. Each atom vibrates with quantum rhythm, and together they form the overtone that is you. When your thoughts contradict your emotions, the overtone becomes discordant. But when they align, when thought, feeling, and action hum in unison, the overtone becomes pure. That purity of signal is coherence, and coherence, once achieved, doesn't just affect the self. It ripples outward through the quantum field, entangling others who are tuned to similar resonance. This is why kindness feels contagious, why creativity spreads, why a single calm mind can steady a room. The physics of entanglement explains what the heart has always known. In a 2018 study at the University of Vienna, researchers demonstrated entanglement between photons across satellite distances, confirming that quantum connection persists even through the thin edge of Earth's atmosphere. The implication was profound. Entanglement is not fragile. It is woven into the fabric of space itself. That means it's everywhere, all the time, waiting. When you direct your consciousness toward creation, you are activating that same fabric. Your mind becomes a small experiment in the grand physics of being. You are the observer and the observed, the experiment and the result. Take a slow breath. Let it spread gently through the body. The oxygen entering your lungs came from trees, and the carbon leaving them will return to the air, to the soil, to other living forms. Entanglement at the biological scale. A reminder that nothing is lost, only transformed. The field remembers. Sometimes people think manifestation is about forcing outcomes, about pushing reality into shape. But entanglement teaches a softer lesson. True influence happens through resonance, not effort. You don't have to demand. You simply need to match the frequency of what you wish to experience. And here's the quiet secret hidden in that. The fastest way to match a frequency is to feel gratitude, as though it has already arrived. Gratitude collapses the wave. It tells the field that the event is already integrated into awareness. It's not a future, it's a now. Einstein hinted at this too. He said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." If time itself is an illusion, then manifestation is less about creating what isn't and more about perceiving what already is. When you align with a frequency, you simply rotate your consciousness to the version of reality that matches it. You might not feel the shift immediately. Quantum events are instantaneous, but physical expression unfolds in sequences we call days, weeks, years. Yet, behind the scenes, probability is reorganizing itself around your new coherence. Every moment of faith strengthens that structure. Every doubt introduces noise. So, when you set your intention tonight or tomorrow, treat it like tuning a stringed instrument. If it sounds harsh, pause, breathe, adjust. Keep tuning until the thought feels calm, natural, inevitable. That feeling of inevitability is coherence. The field always answers in kind. Physicist and mathematician Sir James Jeans once wrote that the universe begins to look more like a great thought than a great machine. It's one of the most poetic lines ever spoken by a scientist, but it's also literal. The fabric of existence behaves more like mind than matter. It thinks through relationships, through patterns of information. You are one of those patterns, a self-aware equation. When you wonder, when you love, when you create, the field expands its own knowing. That's what this whole story is about. The universe remembering itself through you. So, what if entanglement isn't just a property of particles, but a mirror of consciousness itself? What if your awareness is entangled with the fabric of reality because it is that fabric? Then, manifestation isn't a trick of psychology. It's a side effect of being awake. Feel into that idea. Let it move through you like warm light. There is nothing to prove, nothing to force. You have always been connected. The field never stopped listening. If you found comfort in this exploration, or if you'd like to keep traveling through these gentle intersections of science and soul, I'd be grateful if you left a like or subscribed. Each time you do, it helps these ripples of calm curiosity reach more minds across this shared web of awareness. Now return to your breath. Feel its slow rhythm echo the pulse of the earth. Somewhere deep beneath the surface, the planet vibrates with a steady frequency, the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the world. Your body synchronizes with it when you are still. Even that is a kind of entanglement, a reminder that you and the earth are not separate stories. The same coherence that holds galaxies together holds you. The same laws that allow two photons to communicate across light years allow one human heart to reach another. The science that once seemed cold and distant is, in truth, an ancient warmth rediscovered. You are the experiment and the result, the observer and the wave. Reality unfolds not around you but through you. Somewhere in the quantum sea, every possibility that you can imagine already shimmers in potential, waiting for recognition. All you have to do is look gently in its direction and whisper yes. And the field, infinite, patient, entangled with every breath you take, will whisper yes back. The stillness that surrounds you now is not empty. It is saturated with meaning, waiting to be noticed. Every heartbeat sends a faint tremor into that ocean of awareness. Every thought a pulse of light through the fabric that joins all things. It's easy to forget this in the noise of daylight, when the senses fill with motion and urgency. But here, in this quiet, the connection becomes obvious again. Quantum entanglement shows us that distance is not real in the way we think it is. When two particles share a history, they remain linked. A measurement made here shapes a response there, instantly. No wires, no signal, no delay. Something deeper than space carries the message. And if the building blocks of matter behave this way, then perhaps connection is not an anomaly, but the natural state of things. The universe may be less a network of separate points, and more a single, breathing organism. You can feel that when you let your awareness expand. Think of someone you care about and notice the subtle shift inside your body. A warmth, a quiet brightness. That is not imagination. Your nervous system is aligning itself to the field of relationship. Entanglement at a human scale. When love is exchanged, even silently, coherence grows in both participants. Scientists are beginning to see hints of this. In 2021, researchers at Trinity College Dublin detected quantum correlations in living brain tissue. Tiny signals suggesting that biological systems may preserve coherence longer than anyone believed possible. It raises the question, could our very consciousness be a macroscopic form of entanglement? Could each mind be a local expression of a universal field? If so, manifestation becomes the natural language of that field. The thoughts you nurture are not private. They are frequencies shaping probability. Each coherent pattern of emotion and belief organizes the quantum fabric slightly differently. And because the field connects all things, the effects ripple outward, touching possibilities far beyond your immediate awareness. This doesn't mean that every fleeting thought changes the world. Most thoughts are noise, disorganized vibration that cancels itself out. But sustained focus, joined with emotion, becomes order. That's what physicist Erwin Schrödinger meant when he wrote, "What we observe as material bodies and forces are nothing but shapes and variations in the structure of space. Consciousness shapes those variations. When you think clearly and feel deeply, space itself rearranges. Take a slow breath and feel the structure of space around you respond. The molecules of air, the invisible field of electromagnetism, the photons bouncing softly from the walls. Everything vibrates in sympathy with your presence. You are not a visitor here. You are a participant. Imagine for a moment that the field itself is listening. Not as a person listens, but as water responds to the moon. Every tide of emotion draws a corresponding movement in the ocean of reality. The more coherent your feeling, the cleaner the tide. When you picture something you wish to create, don't strain. See it gently, Sense how it already exists in potential. Feel gratitude, not because you hope it will happen, but because in some dimension it already has. Gratitude is the frequency that bridges potential and form. Physicist William Tiller once said, "Future possibilities are real, but they are not yet actualized. Consciousness acts as the bridge that brings them into manifestation. Each moment of clear intent is a bridge. You build it quietly, plank by plank, with focus and trust. The field never forces. It harmonizes. It listens for clarity. That's why frustration and desperation so often delay what we seek. They add turbulence to the signal. The field doesn't withhold. It mirrors the noise it receives. To create, you must first calm the waters. Let your mind drift to a scene that feels beautiful to you. It could be a memory or a vision of something yet to come. Hold it without grasping, the way you'd hold a fragile shell. Feel the emotion it brings, the texture of it in your chest, the rhythm of your breath. In that feeling, probabilities begin to shift. You are sculpting the wave. Across the quantum world, the same rule holds. Observation organizes chaos. A laser works by aligning billions of photons into coherence. A human life works the same way. When your attention aligns, your energy becomes laser-like. The universe doesn't resist. It simply adjusts its pattern to accommodate your new coherence. Einstein once described his sense of reality as a kind of cosmic religious feeling, a deep awareness that everything fits together. He may have disagreed with the mystical interpretations of quantum physics, but his words reveal that he felt the unity all the same. He wrote, "A human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. That delusion fades the more we understand entanglement. The truth of it isn't abstract, it's tactile. You can feel it when you breathe. You can see it in the way life organizes itself, in the murmuration of birds, in the flow of galaxies, in the rhythm of your heartbeat echoing the planet's own magnetic pulse. Even light, the simplest thing we know, remembers where it has been. Quantum experiments show that photons seem to decide their behavior based on choices made after they have already traveled. It's as if the universe is continuously rewriting its story to remain coherent with consciousness. Past, present, and future interlace in a single act of awareness. This is why faith matters. Not faith as blind belief, but as steady resonance. When you hold a vision with calm certainty, you give the field a stable pattern to organize around. You don't manipulate it, you harmonize with it. The results may not appear instantly, but they are already unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. Reality, at its core, is plastic. It responds to coherence. Every great invention, every discovery, every act of love has emerged from that quiet center where a human mind aligned perfectly with possibility. The Wright brothers, Marie Curie, Nikola Tesla, all of them dreamed in frequencies no one else could yet see, and reality reshaped itself to match their coherence. You, too, carry that capacity. The field doesn't discriminate. It responds to the tone of your awareness. So tonight, let your tone be gentle. Let your thoughts drift like small lights on a dark river. No urgency, no demand, just the quiet recognition that you are part of the flow. Somewhere, far from here, a star is forming from the collapse of a gas cloud. Somewhere else, a particle is choosing a path in response to another. All of it is happening in one eternal present. the same present in which you breathe. If you've found peace in this moment, or a spark of curiosity about how deep this connection runs, I'd love for you to leave a like or subscribe to this channel. It's a small gesture, but each one helps this circle of calm exploration stay alive. A constellation of listening minds stretched across the world, connected through the very entanglement we speak of. And now, as your thoughts slow, remember, manifestation isn't something you do, it's something you allow. The field already holds the pattern of your deepest harmony. The act of living, of breathing, of feeling is how that pattern becomes visible. The next time you look at the night sky, see it not as something distant, but as your own body turned inside out. The same quantum sea that flows through your veins. Every atom in those stars once belonged to another star before them, and the atoms within you will one day shine again. This is the ultimate entanglement. Consciousness and cosmos, forever exchanging roles, forever awakening. Nothing is separate, and nothing is ever lost. The night deepens, and with it the silence grows wider. That silence is not absence. It's the hum beneath everything, the steady vibration that holds galaxies together. If you listen closely, you can feel its rhythm inside you. The same pulse that moves through nebulae moves through your bloodstream. It is the one unbroken heartbeat of existence. This is the space where the line between physics and poetry vanishes. When quantum entanglement first entered science, it seemed too strange to believe. Particles linked across impossible distances, behaving as if space and time were illusions. And yet, here you are, feeling the echo of that same mystery in your own awareness. Perhaps the connection we sense between minds, between dreams, between intention and reality is not superstition at all. Perhaps it's physics wearing the mask of love. At Princeton University, physicist John Archibald Wheeler once suggested that the universe is a participatory system, that reality requires observers to bring it into being. He imagined every conscious moment as a small question posed to the cosmos, and every answer as a physical event. The world, he said, is built from acts of participation. The stars exist because something is here to see them. What if the act of manifestation is the same? A conversation between consciousness and potential, where each thought, each image, each pulse of emotion becomes a quiet question, and the universe answers with experience. You are not commanding reality. You are speaking with it. The field replies in resonance. Close your eyes for a moment. Think of something you love. A person, a place, a dream, a simple moment of peace. Feel the warmth it brings. Notice how the body softens, how the breath deepens, how the space around you seems to glow just slightly. That is coherence. That is the signature the universe recognizes. When people meditate together, researchers have measured changes in electromagnetic activity not only within their bodies, but in the environment around them. Random number generators drift from chaos toward order. Heart rhythms synchronize. The world, in small and subtle ways, becomes a little more harmonious. It's as if the field hears the chorus of coherence and sings along. You are part of that choir whether you realize it or not. Every calm thought, every gentle feeling, every act of love adds its note. The song of the universe is not a loud one. It is a slow, patient melody woven from trillions of tiny harmonies. Quantum physics calls it non-local correlation. The heart calls it belonging. Physicist Werner Heisenberg once wrote, "The universe begins to look less like a collection of objects and more like a network of events. You are one of those events, a living intersection of awareness, memory, and possibility. When you choose peace, you tilt the network toward order. When you choose gratitude, you amplify coherence. When you imagine something new, you give the field a new pattern to explore. It might seem abstract, but every innovation humanity has ever birthed began as a vibration in consciousness. The light bulb, the symphony, the spacecraft, all first appeared as probability in the field, drawn into form through focus and intention. The quantum fabric is generous. It invites collaboration. It listens to those who listen back. And you don't have to strain to hear it. The field speaks in intuition, in small nudges, in synchronicities that appear just when you need them. When you follow those threads, reality begins to weave itself around your movement. That weaving is not coincidence. It's entanglement revealing its human face. If you were to magnify the structure of space itself, you'd find that it's not smooth but granular. Tiny loops of energy vibrating at unimaginably small scales. The physicist John Wheeler called them quantum foam. Within that foam, everything connects. Each loop touches every other, exchanging information faster than light, faster than time. That's the hidden foundation of all manifestation. Information that never loses contact with itself. You are made of that same foam, sculpted into form by awareness. So, when you wonder whether your thoughts matter, remember, they are made of the same stuff as stars. The difference is only rhythm. A star burns because hydrogen sings at a certain frequency. A thought glows because consciousness sings at another. Both are expressions of the same underlying music. You can feel that music if you let your body become still enough. Beneath the hum of blood and breath, there is a deeper vibration, steady and luminous. It isn't yours alone. It's the field itself, breathing through you. When you exhale, imagine that your breath carries light. When you inhale, imagine drawing in the rhythm of the cosmos. You are tuning yourself to the background note of creation. This is not imagination. It's resonance. Your nervous system literally entrains to frequencies in your environment, syncing to rhythms that range from planetary to atomic. The more coherent those rhythms, the clearer your perception, the gentler your experience. Over time, this awareness becomes natural. You stop trying to manifest and start listening. You notice which thoughts feel light, which emotions expand the chest, which desires bring quiet joy instead of tension. Those are the ones aligned with the field. Those are the intentions that unfold effortlessly. Einstein once said that his best ideas came not through calculation, but through intuition. He described it as a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. That's the same feeling that guides manifestation when it's done from stillness. The order behind appearance reveals itself, and you become its collaborator. Think back to the times in your life when something impossible happened, when a chance encounter opened a door, when help arrived at the exact right moment, when an idea you barely whispered became real. That wasn't luck. That was coherence finding its path through probability. Quantum theory suggests that every event has countless possible outcomes, each branching into its own reality. But you only ever experience one branch, the one your consciousness is tuned to. Change the tuning, and the reality must change too. You do this not by force, but by rhythm. Each day, each thought, each emotion is a beat. Together, they form the melody of your life. The universe dances to that melody. If you wish for something new, change the song. Begin with gratitude. Gratitude is always in tune. If this thought brings a little calm to your night, I'd be grateful if you left a like or subscribed for more journeys like this one. It helps this small constellation of listeners grow, each of us a note in the same quiet harmony. And now, as you drift deeper into stillness, remember, you are not separate from the universe you wish to understand. You are its awareness folded into human form. Every dream you dream is the universe dreaming itself through you. The field is not distant. It's here, wrapped around your heartbeat, pulsing through your thoughts. Every possibility you can imagine already exists within it, shimmering in quantum potential. To manifest is simply to fall in love with one of those possibilities until the universe cannot tell the difference between your desire and its own design. Rest there, in that knowing. The field will take care of the rest. Stay right here for a moment, within this slow rhythm of thought and breath. The longer you remain in the awareness of it, the more the edges of you begin to blur. It feels almost as if something vast and gentle has leaned closer, not outside of you, but from within. That is the field remembering itself. Physicist Henry Stapp once wrote that each quantum event is a step in the evolution of the universe as a whole. He meant that every moment of awareness, every choice, every act of attention reshapes the entire structure of reality. When you hold a vision, no matter how small, you are helping the universe choose its next configuration. You are not a bystander in this story. You are one of the laws by which it unfolds. Entanglement proves that the universe is a single conversation happening everywhere at once. It isn't whispering through wires or signals. It's whispering through relationship. And that relationship includes you, the listener, the dreamer, the observer. The wave of probability collapses not because you demand it to, but because you notice it. Awareness is the alchemy. If you could see the subatomic world as it truly is, you'd see filaments of light flickering in and out of form. A shimmering web stretching through every atom of your body, through the air, through the floor beneath you, out past the edge of the atmosphere and into the quiet of space. Every photon, every quark, every pulse of energy knows the others. The illusion of isolation is a convenience for the senses. Beneath perception, everything is already holding hands. Think about what that means for intention. When you imagine a possibility, you are not sending a request into a void. You are reaching through those filaments, changing the geometry of connection. The thought doesn't travel. It simply updates the pattern of the whole. In a way, the entire universe feels your intention instantly. In 2017, the physicist Anton Zeilinger said during a lecture, "The distinction between information and reality may, in the end, dissolve." He was describing the idea that the universe might be made not of matter, but of information. And information, by definition, must be shared. Manifestation is that sharing in motion. Consciousness updating the field reflecting it back as experience. You have done this before without realizing it. When you were certain of something, when you knew a path would open, and it did, that was coherence. When you doubted and watched doors close, that was decoherence. The universe never punished or rewarded you. It merely followed the pattern you offered. Now take a slow, deep breath. Feel it settle behind your sternum, a small sun glowing there. Imagine that sun radiating light, not outward only, but in every direction, through every layer of reality. That light is information, a signal of harmony. Every photon in your body, every electron in every atom begins to oscillate in sync with it. You are re-entangling yourself with the coherence of the cosmos. In laboratories, physicists have measured what they call quantum teleportation. Information transferred instantly between entangled particles. What if your intentions are a form of that? Not moving objects through space, but communicating structure through awareness. Each thought an encoded photon, each feeling a carrier wave. When you wake tomorrow, notice how events seem to meet you halfway. The more relaxed your attention, the smoother the alignment. The field responds best to gentleness, because gentleness is coherence. This is why gratitude, love, and curiosity move mountains, while fear and force only scatter energy. The universe speaks fluently in the language of ease. Look back through history, and you'll see that the greatest scientific and spiritual leaps happened in moments of surrender, not struggle. Isaac Newton watched an apple fall and understood gravity, not because he forced the answer, but because his mind was still enough to listen. Einstein described his revelations as compositions, melodies that appeared whole, fully formed. Both were moments of resonance between human awareness and the field's infinite intelligence. When you set an intention, try this. First, breathe until your heartbeat feels slow and steady. Then, picture what you wish to create, but do not chase it. Let it approach you. See it as light traveling through the filaments of entanglement, weaving itself into your timeline. Feel gratitude. Not for a future outcome, but for the beauty of the pattern itself. Then let go completely. Release it back into the field, trusting that information never dies, it only reorganizes. You will notice over time that life begins to echo this rhythm. People arrive at the right moment. Ideas unfold with grace. Coincidences align like constellations. This is not magic. It is physics remembering its unity. The Dalai Lama once spoke with quantum physicists at Dharamsala and said, "Both Buddhism and science are searching for the nature of reality. Both recognize the observer as essential." That single sentence holds the key. The observer is not an intruder. The observer is the artist. Observation is creation. As you drift deeper into calm, notice that even the idea of observer begins to dissolve. The field is observing itself through you. There is no boundary between seer and seen, between dreamer and dream. You are the photon deciding its path, the wave folding into a particle, the thought folding into a world. If this journey through physics and awareness brings peace to your mind, I would be truly grateful if you left a like or subscribed for more reflections like this one. Each small gesture sends coherence through the network of listeners, keeping this circle of exploration alive. Together, we are building a quiet constellation of minds that remember the same truth, that the universe is not somewhere else. It's here, thinking, breathing, unfolding as us. Now, let the words fade into the background. All that remains is the hum beneath thought, the steady rhythm of the field. Every atom in the room sways with it. Every memory, every possibility, every version of you drifts in that same ocean of light. You are entangled with it all, not as an idea, but as a fact of being. Rest in that awareness for a while. The quantum field does not sleep, but it dreams continuously, and tonight it dreams through you. There is a point just before sleep when the mind loosens its grip on the boundaries it built during the day. The walls between things soften. The edges between what you see and what you imagine blur. It is in this state that the truth of entanglement is most easily felt. The world feels quieter, but not empty. Alive, aware, waiting. Everything you are sensing now, every vibration in the air, every whisper of electricity in your nerves, is information moving through the same universal field. The universe is not a place filled with separate things. It is a single, breathing system of relationships. Quantum entanglement shows that what happens to one part of this system immediately affects another, no matter the distance. The separation you see is a trick of scale. Physicist John Bell, whose work made it possible to prove entanglement, once said that if the quantum world is true, then reality is non-local and indivisible. That means every particle, every photon, every spark of consciousness is woven from the same thread. You cannot pull on one strand without the entire fabric moving. When you manifest something, when you hold an image or a feeling in your mind with clarity, you are not asking the universe for a favor. You are rearranging the fabric from within. The field doesn't need to travel anywhere to answer you because you are already part of it. The response is immediate. What takes time is the physical unfolding, the way the material world adjusts its structure to reflect the new pattern. This is why patience and trust are essential. In the quantum field, everything happens instantly, but in the visible world, those shifts ripple through layers of probability until they reach your senses. The more you can stay in coherence, calm, grateful, aligned, the faster those ripples become visible. The universe mirrors the stability of your signal. Some scientists have begun to explore this connection between intention and the physical world. Dean Rodin and his colleagues have shown that when people meditate with focused awareness, small but measurable shifts occur in quantum systems. It isn't proof of magic. It is evidence that consciousness might nudge probability, and that tiny nudge, repeated over time, becomes destiny. The same principle appears in biology. Quantum coherence has been detected in photosynthesis, where light energy moves through plant cells with impossible efficiency. It happens because the particles of light behave as one, entangled, perfectly aligned. Life itself seems to rely on this hidden order. You are made of that same order. The atoms in your body exchange photons with the air, the earth, the stars. At every moment, your body is rewriting its connection to the universe. This is not philosophy, it is physics. So, when you think of something you want to bring into your life, think less in terms of asking, and more in terms of remembering. Somewhere in the field, that version of you already exists. Every possibility already exists. You are simply tuning yourself to the one you wish to experience. The act of tuning begins with emotion. Thought provides direction, but emotion provides frequency. If your thoughts are focused but your emotions are scattered, the signal becomes fuzzy. But when thought and emotion agree, when your mind and heart play the same note, the field hears you clearly. Take a moment now to feel that alignment. Remember a time when you felt gratitude, even for something small. Notice how the body changes in response. The chest softens. The breath deepens. That's coherence forming inside you. That feeling is a living wave moving through your field. It is the language the universe understands best. Physicist Max Planck said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." He didn't mean belief could make things appear out of nothing. He meant that awareness is the foundation upon which matter organizes itself. In that sense, manifestation is not wishful thinking. It is awareness reorganizing matter through resonance. If you can sustain that resonance through patience, gratitude, and faith, the pattern you hold begins to stabilize. The universe does not need to be persuaded. It only needs to recognize coherence. When it does, it mirrors it instantly. The field is generous, but it is exact. It gives you what matches your frequency, not what you ask for in words. This is why self-doubt and fear can delay manifestation. They send mixed signals. The field cannot resonate with contradiction. But when you replace fear with trust, the geometry clears, and everything begins to flow. Try to remember the moments in your life when things fell into place effortlessly, when timing seemed perfect, when events aligned in ways too intricate to plan. Those were moments of natural coherence. You were not pushing reality. You were in rhythm with it. This rhythm can be learned. Meditation, breath, stillness, gratitude. These are not spiritual luxuries, but tools for tuning the mind. Each moment of calm increases the strength of your signal. Each act of kindness aligns your field with the larger one that holds all of existence. The universe is not impressed by noise. It listens for harmony. Physicist David Bohm said, "The field is the fundamental reality, and matter is a secondary phenomenon. That means that everything physical is an echo of the invisible. Change the invisible, your vibration, your awareness, and the echo must follow. You may not notice it immediately, but the field notices it at once, and the field never forgets. Every thought you have, every emotion you release, every intention you whisper into silence, all of it becomes information stored in the structure of space itself. You are constantly writing your signature into the code of the cosmos. If these ideas bring you a sense of calm or a feeling of quiet wonder, I would be grateful if you left a like or subscribed to this channel. It allows these words to find more listeners who long for this same peace, the same curiosity about how science and consciousness meet. Each person who listens adds another node of coherence to this shared field. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that manifestation and entanglement are not separate mysteries. They are the same process viewed from two directions. Entanglement shows that everything is already connected. Manifestation shows that the connection responding to consciousness. You are not a small being hoping for miracles. You are a conscious node in the great network of existence, shaping its pattern from within. The universe has never been silent. It has only been waiting for you to notice that it is listening. Rest in that awareness. You do not need to force the world to move. It is already moving with you. The same coherence that binds particles into atoms, atoms into stars, stars into galaxies, also binds thought into matter, matter into meaning, meaning into life. When you close your eyes tonight, remember that the field never sleeps. It continues to weave your thoughts into form, your dreams into time, your awareness into reality. All of it happening quietly, effortlessly, entangled with everything you have ever loved. There's a kind of peace that arrives when you stop trying to make sense of it all and simply allow yourself to feel it. Beneath the logic and the language, beneath even the theories and experiments, there is a quiet truth humming through everything. You can sense it right now if you listen. The air vibrates with a low frequency, almost silent but undeniable. That vibration is the field. It has been here since the beginning, long before matter, long before light, and it will be here long after. Everything that has ever existed, everything that will ever exist, comes from this field. The physicist Paul Dirac called it the sea of energy, a vast background of potential that births particles when stirred by interaction. From this sea, electrons appear and disappear, photons blink in and out of existence, and somewhere inside that ocean, your awareness rises to the surface for a brief, luminous moment we call life. This is why the quantum world feels so familiar, even when the mind can't fully understand it. You are made of it. You are the field looking at itself, wondering what it means to be aware. When you set an intention, it's not the mind reaching outward. It's the field rearranging its own ripples. Physicist John Wheeler once said, "The universe gives birth to consciousness, and consciousness gives meaning to the universe." It's a loop, an eternal feedback. You are part of that loop right now. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, changes the texture of reality, even if only slightly. When you begin to see it this way, manifestation no longer feels like effort. It becomes more like remembering how to breathe. You don't need to command the universe. You only need to remember that you are the universe, breathing, dreaming, creating through focus and attention. The act of noticing something gives it weight in the field. The act of believing in something stabilizes it, and the act of loving something makes it coherent. That is the hierarchy of manifestation. Awareness brings it into potential. Belief anchors it. Love aligns it with the harmony of the whole. Imagine holding a vision of your life not with desire, but with appreciation. Feel what it's like to know that the version of reality you seek already exists as probability, shimmering just beyond perception. When your thoughts and emotions match that version's frequency, the probability solidifies, just as observation makes a particle rail. This is how thought becomes experience. There are layers to the universe, each vibrating at different speeds. The slowest vibrations form matter. The faster ones form energy, light, and information. The fastest of all form awareness itself. Manifestation is simply the movement of an idea through those layers, from the lightest, most abstract vibration to the densest, most tangible form. The clearer and more coherent your consciousness, the smoother that movement becomes. You have experienced this before, in flashes of intuition. You think of someone and they call. You imagine a solution and it appears. These are small examples of entanglement working through the human mind. When your thoughts align with coherence, the Aus-I field rearranges itself accordingly. Einstein believed that the separation between mind and matter was only an illusion, saying, "The field is the only reality." When you understand this, you stop searching outside yourself. You realize that everything is already connected, that every moment you experience is the universe communicating with itself through your awareness. The practice of manifestation becomes less about achieving and more about allowing. You begin to listen instead of speak, to sense instead of strive. The more still you become, the louder the fields whisper. It speaks through intuition, through timing, through the effortless unfolding of events. If you've ever watched the tide draw back and forth across the shore, you've seen the same rhythm. The wave recedes before it returns, yet it never truly leaves the ocean. Your manifestations move like that, outward into potential, then back into form. The quiet space in between is not emptiness, it's incubation. Many of the great physicists described their discoveries as moments of stillness. Niels Bohr said, When we measure something, we are forcing an answer out of nature that she was not ready to give. In the same way, when you try to force manifestation, you collapse the wave too soon. Patience lets the pattern form with elegance. The universe moves best when it moves at its own pace. Every thought is a seed, and every emotion is the soil that nurtures it. Fear dries the soil. Gratitude waters it. Love lets it bloom. The physics is simple. Coherent vibration sustains structure. The same rule applies to galaxies and dreams alike. Your thoughts are quantum signals. Your emotions magnetic fields. Together, they shape your personal reality. When you hold gratitude, you are literally aligning your electromagnetic field with harmony. The particles around you respond, because they are not separate from you. You can test this in small ways. Choose something simple, something you can hold lightly. Picture it vividly. Feel appreciation for it before it arrives. Then let it go. You'll begin to notice small alignments, gentle coincidences, subtle shifts in timing. The field is responding to the clarity of your signal. Physicist David Bohm explained that the implicate order of reality, the hidden layer beneath the visible world, unfolds into experience through waves of information. Consciousness, he suggested, is part of that order, not outside it. When you focus, you ripple the implicate layer, and the explicate world, the visible world, responds. If you find peace in this understanding, if it helps you see your life as part of something grand and living, I would be grateful if you left a like or subscribed. Every listener, every moment of shared reflection becomes another note in this growing harmony of thought. Now, rest a little deeper into the awareness of connection. The space between you and everything else is only an illusion painted by perception. Beneath that illusion, there is one field, one breath, one timeless pulse. You are not reaching toward it. You are it. The stars above you, the cells within you, the memories, the dreams, the future you imagine. They are all entangled, all communicating, all part of one continuous conversation that never began and will never end. As you drift closer to stillness, remember this. Your consciousness is not a small light flickering against the darkness. It is the same light from which the universe itself was born. When you focus that light, the field responds instantly, shaping itself to match your coherence. In this awareness, creation becomes natural. Each breath, each heartbeat, each gentle thought is another brush stroke on the canvas of existence. The field listens without judgment, and it always says yes. If you could see the movement of energy around you now, you would see that nothing is still. Even in silence, even in sleep, the field vibrates. Every atom in your body is alive with motion, and each one is entangled with countless others, extending in invisible threads beyond what the senses can detect. The desk you touch, the light that fills the room, the breath you release into the air. None of it is separate. All of it is one unbroken process of exchange. This is the secret that quantum physics has been hinting at since its birth. There are no solid things, only patterns of vibration, waves of probability constantly forming and dissolving. Matter is simply energy that has agreed, for a moment, to take a specific shape. And consciousness, the thing observing it all, is the artist shaping that agreement. When Einstein and Bohr debated the nature of reality, their arguments weren't just about particles or equations. They were about meaning. Einstein insisted that reality existed independently of observation. Bohr countered that observation itself is what gives reality form. Decades later, Every experiment continues to confirm Bohr's view. Until something is observed, it remains in potential. Only when it is noticed, interacted with, or measured does it become definite. You participate in that process constantly. You observe, and the field collapses into the version of reality that fits your focus. When your attention lingers on fear or lack, the field mirrors that structure. When it lingers on gratitude and abundance, it mirrors that instead. There is no morality in it, only resonance. The universe is an instrument. You are the one playing it. This is why mindfulness matters. What you give your attention to becomes the template of your experience. Attention is the currency of creation. It decides which probabilities become form. Manifestation, then, is simply deliberate attention joined with coherent emotion. Physicist Erwin Schrödinger once said, "The total number of minds in the universe is one." He was speaking not as a mystic, but as a scientist who saw that the division between observer and observed is artificial. The mind that watches and the reality it perceives are two aspects of the same underlying process. When you wake each morning, you are not stepping into a fixed world. You are entering a field of potentials that reorganizes itself around your consciousness. Every decision, every belief, every subtle mood shifts that field slightly, creating new paths and closing others. This is the physics behind free will, not the ability to defy nature, but the ability to choose which version of nature you experience. There is a softness to this understanding, a kind of relief. You don't need to fight against the current of reality. You only need to choose the rhythm you wish to follow and allow the current to carry you. The more you trust, the smoother the flow becomes. The more you resist, the more turbulence appears. If you focus on a dream, imagine it in detail but hold it lightly. The field responds to clarity, not desperation. Clarity is a signal. Desperation is noise. The difference is not in strength, but in coherence. A gentle, steady vibration moves farther than a frantic one. The same principle applies to sound, to light, to everything that travels through a medium. A steady tone carries across distance because it remains organized. Your thoughts and emotions behave the same way. The frequency of calm certainty reaches farther into the field than the frequency of doubt. When you look at the night sky, you are not seeing distant objects. You are seeing interactions of light that connect you directly to the past. Some of the photons entering your eyes began their journey millions of years ago. Yet, when they reach you, they do not feel old. They simply exist now. That is how consciousness works. It gathers all moments into one present awareness. This is why manifestation can appear to change not only the future but the past. It is not rewriting time. It is reordering your connection to it. Every time you shift your perception, the world rearranges itself to match. The people you meet, the opportunities you attract, the experiences that unfold, all of them are reflections of your inner pattern. This isn't superstition, it's quantum logic. The field doesn't contain separate layers for matter, mind, and meaning. They are the same structure viewed from different angles. When you are calm and coherent, you begin to notice a subtle synchrony. Events line up. Thoughts arrive exactly when needed. The rhythm of life feels orchestrated. That is what coherence feels like in motion. It is the same principle that allows lasers to work, that allows cells to communicate, that allows galaxies to spin in harmony. To live in coherence is to live in trust. It's not passive surrender. It's active alignment. You still move, create, and act, but you do so from the quiet confidence that the field is moving with you. The effort becomes lighter. The path becomes clearer. Think of how the Earth moves through space, rotating, orbiting, balancing, never colliding, never faltering. That precision isn't random, it's coherence on a cosmic scale. You are part of that same order. The field that guides planets also guides thought. When you let go of control, what you are really doing is releasing interference. You allow the natural coherence of the field to reassert itself. The version of reality that matches your truest frequency then comes forward effortlessly. The universe does not need to be commanded. It only needs to be heard. Breathe deeply now. Feel the way your breath merges with the air, the way the air merges with the sky, the way the sky merges with the vast, dark space beyond it. Nothing ends anywhere. Everything is woven together in gradients of existence. Physicist Brian Greene once said, "The universe is a symphony of vibrating strings." If that is true, then consciousness is the melody running through it. You can change the melody at any time. The strings will adjust their vibration to match your song. If these thoughts bring you calm, if they help you see that your awareness is already part of something magnificent, I would be grateful if you left a like or subscribed. Every connection adds another vibration to this shared exploration, another point of light in this constellation of listening minds. Now, as the night deepens, feel how everything is already in motion. The stars, the atoms, the heartbeat of the earth beneath you. You are not separate from any of it. You are one pattern in a living field, and that field listens to you in the same way you listen to it. Each breath is a conversation. Each thought is a ripple. Each emotion is a bridge between the invisible and the visible. All that remains is to trust the rhythm, to keep your awareness clear and your heart coherent. The universe does not need to be convinced to love you. It already is you, dreaming through your eyes, entangled with every atom that ever was or ever will be. When you wake in the morning, the light that touches your eyes is ancient. The photons that meet your gaze may have begun their journey from the heart of the sun 8 minutes ago, or from a star that burned out millions of years in the past. Yet, when they reach you, they are present. Time disappears. The act of observation completes the journey. The light becomes now. That is how the quantum field works. It doesn't move through time. It gathers time into itself. Every thought you have works in the same way. The moment you imagine something, it begins to exist as a possibility in the field. Whether that possibility becomes physical depends on how clearly you hold it, how deeply you feel it, and how long you can remain in harmony with it. The field does not respond to command, only to resonance. It listens for stability, for the quiet hum of certainty. You can test this in small ways. When you think of someone with genuine affection, they often appear or reach out. When you decide that a day will be peaceful, events seem to unfold more smoothly. When you carry anger, life mirrors it back. The field is literal. It reflects vibration into form. This is why inner work matters more than external effort. You can chase a goal through force, but the results will always carry the same turbulence as the energy that created them. Or you can cultivate coherence, release the noise, and let the field organize the outcome. The difference is subtle but absolute. In one, you are the doer. In the other, you are the conduit. The physicist and Nobel laureate Richard Feynman once said that nature loves simplicity. but it hides it behind complexity. Entanglement is like that. It seems strange, impossible even, until you stop thinking of particles as things and start seeing them as relationships. Everything you experience is the interaction of relationships. The way one field affects another, the way one vibration meets another and becomes a new pattern. You are not separate from that pattern. You are its living expression. Every heartbeat, every thought, every sigh adjusts the geometry of the field in ways beyond comprehension. That is not exaggeration. It is the reality implied by every entanglement experiment ever performed. The field responds instantly because, in truth, there is no distance for it to cross. There is only itself, folding and unfolding, endlessly aware. Sometimes people hear this and worry that every stray thought will manifest. It doesn't. The field isn't a servant responding to random noise. It's a mirror of sustained coherence. Only the vibrations that hold stability, the patterns that carry genuine emotion and belief, have enough structure to translate into matter. Random thoughts are static. Aligned thoughts are music. To manifest is to compose. You are not controlling reality, you are harmonizing with it. The song you play through your awareness ripples across the fabric of existence, finding harmony with matching frequencies, and when the notes align, form arises. Einstein once admitted that the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. The field wants to be known. It arranges itself into patterns that consciousness can read. That's what life is, the field making itself visible. You are the field's way of knowing itself. When you dream, the universe dreams. When you wake, the universe looks at itself through your eyes. There is freedom in this understanding. You no longer have to beg the universe for what you want. You only have to remember that you are already participating in its unfolding. The field does not need convincing. It simply reflects your clarity. The physicist Wheeler believed that every act of observation adds to the universe's existence, that the cosmos is continuously brought into being by awareness. If that is true, then every loving thought adds structure to the fabric of space. Every kind word strengthens coherence in the field. Every act of creation, no matter how small, expands reality itself. So, the most powerful thing you can do for the world is to become coherent within yourself. When your mind, heart, and action align, you create order in the field. That order spreads. It touches people you will never meet, places you will never see, and futures you will never personally witness. That is how manifestation becomes contribution. Take a breath. Feel how still the air feels for a moment, and then notice the pulse of life inside it. The faint hum of electricity, the vibration of your own heartbeat. That rhythm is the same one that moves through the stars. It is the baseline frequency of existence. When you feel peaceful, you are matching that frequency. When you feel gratitude, you are amplifying it. This is why peace is powerful. It isn't weakness, it's coherence. Peace aligns the field so precisely that reality flows around it with no resistance. It's the same reason why light, which has no mass, moves faster than anything else. It doesn't struggle with the field, it moves as the field. You can live that way. You can act, create, and dream without resistance. The more coherent you become, the more effortless creation feels. You will still encounter contrast, but you will stop labeling it as failure. Contrast is simply the field showing you where your frequency is not yet clear. It is an invitation to tune yourself more precisely. Every experience, every challenge, every joy, every disappointment is part of that tuning process. The field does not punish, it calibrates. It listens to your vibration and reflects it honestly. When you feel something unwanted, you are receiving feedback. The energy is showing you where you are still holding separation. In that moment, you have a choice. You can resist the reflection and create more distortion, or you can relax, breathe, and allow coherence to return. Gratitude is the fastest path back. Gratitude collapses resistance. It is the sound of alignment. If these words bring ease, if they help you remember the quiet order behind all things, I would be grateful if you left a like or subscribed. It lets this circle of awareness grow. More minds remembering that the universe is not chaos, but conversation. Each listener becomes part of the experiment, another conscious node in this entangled web of awakening. As you rest tonight, understand that you are never disconnected from the source of creation. The particles that compose your body are the same particles that burned in the first stars. The light that shines through your eyes is the same light that illuminated the birth of the cosmos. The consciousness reading these words is the same awareness that shaped the galaxies. You are not a small being in a vast universe. You are the vast universe, temporarily focused into a single point of awareness. You are the quantum field exploring itself, dreaming itself, and loving itself into form. When you remember this, the need to control fades. You realize that everything is already in motion, guided by the same intelligence that keeps the stars balanced in their orbits. You can relax into the rhythm, align your thoughts with harmony, and let the field do what it has always done. Create beauty from coherence, reality from resonance, light from awareness. The quantum field is always listening. Every thought is a note. Every feeling is a chord. Every moment of gratitude is a new melody added to the cosmic song. And that song never ends. Everything you have felt through these words, every image, every realization, every flicker of calm, is part of the same unfolding that began long before you were born. The field that carried light from the first stars is the same field that carries your breath now. The same laws that bind electrons together hold your thoughts in place. What quantum physics has shown us, and what the oldest wisdom traditions always knew, is that nothing is truly separate. Entanglement is not a curiosity of the microscopic world. It is the language of existence. It means that you have never been alone, not even for a moment. Each movement of your mind and each beat of your heart is felt everywhere, translated instantly into the fabric of creation. The universe is a single organism, and you are one of its thoughts, alive, aware, learning to see itself from within. Manifestation is simply what happens when that awareness becomes clear. When you stop seeing life as something happening to you and begin to sense it as something happening through you, creation becomes natural again. You think, you feel, you align, and the field adjusts. It doesn't need your struggle, it only needs your coherence. Every time you breathe with gratitude, every time you act from love instead of fear, every time you let go of control and trust the intelligence that shaped galaxies, you strengthen that coherence. You become a point of order in the field, and that order ripples outward, balancing other patterns, guiding them back toward harmony. It's the smallest, simplest act, just being conscious with kindness, and yet it changes everything. Look at the world around you now. The light, the stillness, the sounds fading into distance. All of it is the field responding to your awareness of it. The moment you look, it becomes. The moment you feel, it moves. The moment you love, it aligns. That is the mystery Einstein called spooky action at a distance. But it is not spooky at all. It is the most intimate truth there is. As you lie down tonight, you can let these ideas dissolve into the background. You don't have to hold them. They will hold you. The field will keep flowing. The atoms will keep spinning. The stars will keep burning, and your consciousness will drift through it, still connected to everything, still shaping reality in silence. Remember this as you drift into rest. You are not trying to reach the universe. You are made of it. You are not asking it to hear you. It already is you. Every possibility you have ever dreamed of exists in potential, waiting for the moment when your awareness becomes steady enough, loving enough, coherent enough to meet it. When that moment comes, and it always does, the field folds itself into the pattern of your intention. The invisible becomes visible, the dream becomes real, and what you once called magic reveals itself as the natural movement of a conscious universe. If this journey has brought you calm or opened a small space of wonder in your mind, I would be grateful if you left a like or subscribed. It allows this quiet circle of listeners to grow, each of us another wave in the same vast sea of thought. Now let the words fade. Let the rhythm of your breath become the only sound you follow. The universe is breathing with you. One field, one song, endless, aware. The story of creation is still being written, and in this moment, it is writing itself as you.